What is the lymphatic system? And in order to truly understand what the lymphatic system is, you have to understand how the body works and how the body operates. I teach y'all and talk to y'all a lot about how God created your body to be perfect and how God created your body to be self-correcting, how God created your body to be self-caring, and how God created your body to literally be self-sustaining. And not only that, he created your body to be self-regenerating. So your body and your cells can regenerate. In order to understand what the body is, you have to understand that the body is made of cells. So we have to think about it. When you think about the body and you get into biochemistry and biology, you have to understand that the body is made up of what you'll call these quantum particles. These quantum particles then make protons, electrons, and neutrons. These protons, these electrons, and neutrons then make what you will call atoms, or atom, or adam. Notice when you go to any so-called religion or you get deep into spirituality, they always say that the first, humanoid that was created was made. They either call it Adam, like in the Garden of Eden, Adam, or Adam and Kawa. Then you get Atum when you start studying Kemet. Then when you get into your science community, they call it the atom. So atoms, or the atom, makes many molecules. And then these molecules is what makes the functioning components of a cell. All right, now these cells, which is 150 trillion cells, when you're talking about so-called African Americans, or what I would call copper melanated beings, indigenous to this earth, you have 150 trillion cells. When you go to any other race, they have 50 to 75 trillion cells, but you have 150. Now, these cells then come together as communities and then start making different types of organs. These organs then start working with one another and they make organ systems. And then once these organ systems are working with all in the body, they call it an organism. And that's what you're looking at right now. You're looking at an organism. But this organism is potentially made up of quantum particles that make up cells, right? Now, if you look at your body is made of cells. If you look at you, you have a mouth. You have a mouth for you can taste, for you can eat. If you look at your lower extremities, you have a gut, and that gut leads to what you would call a small and large intestines where you can eat food. And when you eat food, you have to go through a metabolic process. So whatever you eat, you have to get it out of your system. Same thing if you drink something. When you drink something, it goes through its metabolic process. You get your electrolytes and your minerals and your hydration molecules from them. And then you have to basically relieve yourself by going and urinating. Same thing for your cells. If you eat, your cells eat. If you breathe, your cells breathe. If you drink, your cells drink. When you think, your cells think. So you have something called organs. Like, for instance, a liver, that's an organ. Your heart, that's an organ. You have something called glands, or what they call the endocrine system or the glandular highway. Your cells have something called organelles, which is nothing but smaller organs. It's called an organelle. If you look it up, it comes from the Latin word and it means small parts. So everything that you possess in the macro, your cells possess in the micro. So your cells eat and your cells poop. Your cells drink and your cells urinate. Your cells actually have organs called organelles. Now, they might not look like yours, but the functionality and the definitions are the exact same. And just to give y'all a brief synopsis, when you look at something called the actual intestinal bladder, you have something called the vacuole bladder inside of your cell. So inside the macro body, you have literally the urinary or intestinal bladder that holds your urine. And it collects all the phytonutrients, all the leftover minerals, and it collects all the electrolytes, and it pushes it back in the bloodstream by way of the kidneys and the renal glands, right? Well, the same thing you have inside of your cells, but they call that the vacuole. It does the same exact thing. For instance, you have something called hydrochloric acid that's inside of your stomach sac. Well, when you look inside of your cells, you have something called the lysosome and the exosome. The lysosome acts as a digestive enzyme or acid that helps break down other cells. And then what the exosome does is it acts like peristalsis. It helps push and secrete all of the metabolic waste that your cells have been accumulating because it's eating outside the cell into something called interstitial fluid. You see what I'm saying? Same thing as the nervous system. You have something called a nervous system. You have the sympathetic nervous system, the parasympathetic nervous system, the intrinsic nervous system, the central nervous system. All of these are electrical impulses and melanin neurotransmitters that help you communicate with every cell and with every limb in your body, right? You even have something called the 12 cranial nerves, the vagus nerves. Well, inside your actual cells, you have something called the K plus channel leak ions. And this is nothing but the nervous system of the cell. So your cell have a nervous system. Your cell have a skeleton structure. How you have bones, you have something called the cytoplasma skeleton structure of the cell. Your cell have a skin. You see that, which is this mucus cholesterol ring called the cellular membrane. Your cells actually have what you will call gonads or ovaries. This is what you will call the nucleus of the cells. And within inside the nucleus of the cells, guess what you have? You have the deoxyribose nucleic acid, or what you will call the geno blueprint to produce new cells. So everything that you possess in the macro, or that you call the human body, it breaks down to micromolecules or microcells, and those cells have the same things. It's called fractals. As above, so below. As within, so without. So if you eat, that means you got to poop. If you drink, that means you got to pee. If you actually put your body into environmental pollutants, that means you will have some type of blowback from it. But we have to understand and realize that the body is made of what? Cells. So if you eat and have to poop, that means your cells eat and they have to poop too. If you drink and you have to urinate, that means your cells drink and they have to urinate too. Now, let me show you the cleansing system of the body. When you chew your food and you go and you eat a big meal, your digestive system breaks down these foods. Then you go to the bathroom and you have to defecate. Well, what do your cells do when they eat food? Because they have to go through a digestive process too. They have to defecate too. See, the cells don't have the luxury like you to get up and walk to the bathroom and to sit on the commode and pull down your pants and have the relaxing relief, process of defecating and getting rid of the bloatiness and getting rid of the full stomach or getting rid of the full intestines. See that? So the cells, what they do is they poop on top of themselves. You see that? Now, if you look at poop and you see what's inside of poop, you can actually get many different types of what they will call bacterial infections because it's metabolic waste inside of your defecation. If you look at a poop, that's why when you're dealing with bathrooms, they put on gloves and they use sanitary types of products because they know that it's something breaking down that poop that has all types of environmental toxemias inside of them. Same thing with inside of your body. When you eat something, your body extracts all of the macronutrients, all of the phytonutrients, all of the phytonutrients, all of the micronutrients, and then what's left over is what you will call byproducts. These byproducts are usually acidic in nature, so you have to hurry up and get them out of the body before they burn the cells. So God is so amazing, he created your body to have three functional major systems. The first system is called the blood. The blood is what feeds 150 trillion cells of your body. The blood is what it's like the train station. Have you ever seen a train on a railroad tracks? And one of them they got hay, and the other one they got guns, and the other one they got the ammo and ignition, and another one they got corn, and another one they probably got apples, and one they got clothes. And then this train is going all throughout the organism that we call Earth, and at each individual state it is dropping off what that individual state's needs, right? Well, you have something called a train system or a transport system in your body called the blood system. And inside the blood system, you have these different types of erythrocytes, and you have white blood cells. And inside of them, you have different types of things like iron phosphate, O3 or O2 oxygen molecules. And then iron phosphate is back with that. And then it basically attracts all other minerals. And then it goes throughout the bloodstream and it stops at each individual cell, and it drops goodies off like macronutrients. It drops goodies off like oxygen. It drops things off like sulfur. It drops all the things off to each individual cell that it needs. Now, what happens is the cell starts to eat those things and engulf those things. But anytime you look at anything in life, you're dealing with consumption and elimination. You cannot consume or you cannot digest without going through a limited process. Because if you don't eliminate what you accumulate, you become constipated. Constipation equals stagnation. Stagnation being constipated, meaning you're holding on to toxic. toxic waste. You're holding on to toxic memories. You're holding on to toxic thoughts. You're holding on to toxic relationships. See that we can take this spiritual or we can keep it physical, but it's all talking about the same thing. Whatever you bring into your life, you have to be able to process those things, get the good from up out of it, and what is ever left over, call it bad, and then you must eliminate it, right? So everything